Welcome again, at least for those of you who have already watched the policy presentation that comes along with this recording. My name is Filippo Gasparin. I'm working as project advisor in Sinea, and I will now present the core elements and requirements of the live city industry topic. It is indeed a quite comprehensive topic, since, as you will see in a moment, with this topic, we are trying to tackle two important challenges. So, on the one hand, to support the production of clean energy technologies at the European level, and on the other hand, to support their uptake through a closer collaboration among companies that are operating in proximity. But let's start from the beginning. So from the basics of this topic, which is made by two scopes, scope A and scope B. Scope A, it is really about fostering the collaboration between industrial sectors and technology providers for clean energy technology optimization and deployment. Whereas Scope B is more looking into the establishment of energy cooperation mechanisms among industries in proximity to foster clean, affordable, and sustainable energy use. Very important here to be aware of is that proposals should address only one of these two scopes, meaning that a proposal that is addressing both scopes at the same time will surely not get an extra point. Quite the contrary. Proposals must gather at least three legal entities from three different eligible countries. And I encourage you to have a look at the call document to see which are those countries, of course, besides the 27 member states. And important elements have been introduced in this year topic. Therefore, if you intend to resubmit a proposal, please be aware to change and to adjust the content of the proposal indeed according to the elements of this new live city industry topic. Moving on to scope A, which is very much in line with the overall objectives of the Net Zero Industry Act. Indeed, if we look at the specific objectives of scope A, we will see that indeed the aim is to foster the production, the manufacturing of clean energy technologies at the European level by bridging the gap between the demand and supply side. So if we look at the demand side, proposals will have to target a specific industrial sector, so supporting companies to analyze and survey their industrial process, their production processes and related energy needs in order really to define a standard model, a standard profile that shall facilitate the collaboration with the supplier. And I say facilitate because we do know that companies are often reluctant to share their own data. So we do believe that by developing such model, such standard profile, this collaboration can be ensured, can be solid and fruitful. If we look at the supply side, applicants will have to support companies, so manufacturers, technology providers, suppliers, to redefine their technological offers. So to optimize and standardize their production and their products and their solutions in order really to find a full alignment and match with the technological and energy needs of their clients. The ultimate goal of this scope is really to co-design more streamlined, standardized, and even turnkey technologies. And if we look at the list of clean energy technologies that are at stake somehow for this collaboration, we will see that surely there are renewable energy measures, energy efficiency products and processes, electric motors, heat pumps, storages, and more in general, all the renewable energy and energy efficiency related technologies that are covered by the Net Zero Industry Act. Therefore, technologies such as nuclear or CCS, carbon capture and storage, are not really at stake somehow for this collaboration and for what we have in mind. This is a list of relevant actions that shall be implemented during the time frame of the project, starting with the first one, which is indeed the establishment of the governance structure, which in other words, it means the development of the platform, the development of the space that where the demand and the supply side will meet to start the collaboration, to start exchanging, and therefore it means to identify the key roles and tasks of each involved actors. Then it is about the development and validation of business models that shall run to foster the deployment of the technological solution, and also to develop capacity building activities and trainings, of course, whenever relevant, to speed up the market uptake of such technology, for instance, through the development of installers' guidelines. Proposals will have also to develop a clear strategy to roll out the technical solution, looking also at ways to stimulate and trigger the public and private finance. Of course, the involvement of relevant representative organizations at national and European level, it is very much needed and important. Such organizations shall represent both the demand and the supply side, and you really have to convincingly present how you intend to mobilize these organizations, typically either by involving them already as part of the consortium or through letter of support. Proposal should focus on existing technologies already available on the market, which means TRL 9, so technology readiness level, and very much linked to this point, the demonstration of the proposed solution is not in scope, and therefore all the equipment's costs are eligible, but only to a very small extent, and of course, if well justified. And surely with this scope, with this topic, we are not gonna support and finance research and innovation activities. If you intend to submit a proposal under scope A, don't start from scratch, meaning that there are already relevant initiatives out there from which you can build on your proposal. The first one that we want you to become aware is that last year, under the LIFE-CET sub-program call, we published a topic, the heat pump topic, where there was also scope, which was sharing the same expected objectives as the one that I am presenting now. So it was really about fostering the collaboration between specific industrial sectors and industrial heat pump producers. Therefore, compared to this year topic, which is much more broader because we are targeting much more technologies, last year we were only focusing on this collaboration with the heat pump technology providers. Two proposals were selected. Unfortunately, I cannot reveal much because these two proposals are still under GAP, so under the grant agreement preparation process. However, I can simply say that the targeted sectors in this case were the food and drink sector, pulp and paper, and chemicals. Although I cannot reveal much again on these two proposals, I can surely say that a very successful collaboration was presented under the framework of the SET plan, so the Strategic Energy Technologies Plan. And it is indeed about the collaboration between the EU paper industry and the heat pump producers. So I really encourage you to become aware on the key elements of such collaboration, because they are very much relevant and they are really somehow what we are expect to finance also through this scope A. Finally, I want just to mention that there might be very much mature and successful projects funded through Horizon Europe that were capable of increasing the TRL level for some technology, such as those that have to do with solar thermal, geothermal, and storages. And therefore, these technologies that now have reached a higher level around 9, they are indeed, they can be considered as technologies that are indeed relevant for this collaboration. Moving on to scope B, which is indeed about fostering the energy cooperation among industries in proximity. As someone among you might recall it, this scope was also open in the past, but this year it has changed quite substantially because we wanted really to fine tune, to find a full alignment with the overall objectives and the new elements that have been introduced following the adoption of the Clean Industrial Deal. So, in terms of specific objectives, they didn't change much because we are still looking to foster the market uptake of energy efficiency measures, renewables, and of course heat pumps whenever relevant through the establishment of industrial energy cooperation. Now, for industrial energy cooperation, we mean companies that are sharing energy-related assets, such as storages, energy storages, such as smart meters, or even recharge infrastructures for electric vehicle. But also we intend companies that are sharing energy services such as energy management systems, energy audits, or even demand and response services. Indeed, as core element of this industrial energy cooperation, it is the exchange of energy among companies, but also promoting the industrial symbiosis, which means the cooperation between the public and private sector. So going beyond the industrial compound, for instance, when it comes to the reuse of industrial waste heat. And of course, another important element of such cooperation is to facilitate and the access to finance, either by pooling resources for the investment on sustainable energies or bundling together small sustainable projects in order to increase their bankability. If we look now at the pilots, which is the core elements that we are expect you from the projects. Let me start by saying that in the call topic, in the text of this topic, we are not prescriptive, meaning that we are not requesting minimum number of pilots or industrial clusters or even companies to be targeted and involved in the project. It is really up to you to come up with these numbers. I just want to anyway remind you that submitting a proposal under this topic and in general under all topics, it is a very competing process. So try to be as much ambitious as possible. Nevertheless, projects will have to focus on companies in physical proximity, so typically in clusters, industrial parks, sites, areas. Now, how much close or how much far these companies need to be, it really depends on the type of measures you want to implement. So it is really a balance between the measures you want to implement on energy storage, microgrid, or whatever, with the proximity of those companies, really to maximize the impacts of such measure. So proposals shall address energy-intensive industries, and this is really one of the key elements that connect overall this scope with the Clean Industrial Deal. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you will have to target large energy-intensive industries. Therefore, you can well address small, medium-sized energy-intensive companies. And if you come up with a clear justification, you can also address other companies that have a different energy profile and energy needs. There is one sentence that I would like to clarify in the text of the topic, which is about the fact that industrial clusters shall be established and addressed in each participating country targeted by the action, which means that if a country of a beneficiary who is dealing with the implementation of dissemination and communication activities. So these countries are surely not deemed to be targeted by the action, and therefore we do not expect a pilot to run in these specific countries. Also, in this case, you have a list of relevant actions to be implemented in order to establish such energy cooperation mechanisms during the time frame of the project, starting with the identification, investigation, and validation of economically viable business models, proving the value creation for each involved actor. So it is about making sure to identify which is the most suitable business model that can operationalize such collaboration, and also a business model that is capable to collect and to capture the value that is stemming from sustainability, basically. So it is also about assessing and quantifying and valorizing the non-energy benefits that can be generated again through such collaborative approaches. It is also about addressing the more contractual aspects, such as when it comes the procurement and other type of purchasing processes. So it is about looking the market, legal, organizational, and the regulatory barriers. And of course, regulatory is very much an issue and very much important aspects to be addressed when you intend to involve a distributed system operator, so a regulated player. Proposals will have to identify a pipeline of relevant energy infrastructures. In order also to engage with the relevant stakeholders to map present and future industrial energy needs, which means that what we would like to see is a kind of a roadmap for the whole industrial cluster, the whole industrial area, industrial park, or part of it at least, in order to develop a kind of roadmap, sustainable roadmap with clear targets and a number of projects, so a pipeline of projects underneath that can really trigger investments, sustainable investments for the achievement of such sustainable targets. Ideally, we would like this roadmap to be as much endorsed as possible, and also align with the local plans and strategies of the territory, whether it is at local or regional level, for instance, in line with the sustainable energy action plans that are submitted in the framework of the Covenant of Mayors initiative. Also, in this case, if you intend to submit a proposal under this scope, please have a look at what already exists out there. Here, we wanted you to become aware on these two projects, Energize and We Share. They were both funded under the LIFE-CET business topic in 2023, and they are both looking at ways to stimulate the collaboration among companies in proximity in order to decarbonize their processes. So here you have the link to their website. On the right-hand side, there is this map which is showing the geographical coverage of the 16 projects that have been funded under the LIFE-CET business topic for 2021 to 2023. As you can see, there are some member states that is overrepresented, some other less. Of course, we would like all the countries to take actions to be involved. Nevertheless, the message that I want to convey is not that if you pull up a consortium with only participants from Baltic regions, this will give you an extra point. You still have to come up with a solid concept, a solid methodology, and ambitious impacts, and of course competing with the others. But nevertheless, we wanted to share this information to be everyone on the same page. Finally, I would just want to remind you that this type of collaboration to facilitate the use of renewables and also energy efficiency in industrial sites has been already supported under, for instance, two important initiatives. One is SPIRE, which was funded through Horizon 2020, and now its successor, which is Process for Planet, who is currently financed through the Horizon Europe. And therefore you can try to complement as much as possible what already exists out there. And in general terms, you have also to understand that with the LIFE-CT, we are really trying to complement what already exists out there in terms of funding opportunities for the research and innovation type of actions. So regarding the impacts, as you know, you will be asked to quantify already at proposal stage what will be the expected impacts that will be triggered through the actions that you have in mind. These impacts are split into two groups, qualitative and quantitative. So for qualitative, you have here the list. I mean, it is a quite self-explanatory, so I will not really go through each of these indicators, just to highlight you and to let you know that, of course, not all are relevant for both scopes. Some yes, some no. The only clarification that I want to make here is for what we mean by deployment of energy-related infrastructure. So we don't expect you to develop such such technologies already during the time frame of the project. It is sufficient that you will show, you will prove that these technologies will be actually implemented in the following 3-4 years following the closure of the projects. So whether it is they are already listed in a business plan or there is a memorandum of understanding that will be signed with regard the commissioning phase of such technologies and infrastructures. Also, in this case, you have a list of quantitative KPIs. Of course, they are not all relevant for both scopes. What I really, the message that I want to convey here is that try to be as much clear as possible when it comes to the definition of the assumption, calculations, baseline. I mean, it is very important that the experts clearly understand how the impacts have been calculated and substantiated. This is already my last slide. I just want to provide some numbers. So for this year, for this topic, we have 9 million available. And we do expect that proposal will request an EU contribution that goes up to 2 million euros. So we do expect to finance around 4 or 5 projects. Be aware that the funding rate is around 95% and the average duration is 36 months. Nevertheless, it is also up to you. You can go above or below these figures, of course, if well justified. And the more in general, my final message is that with this topic, with this presentation, we intend to create, the common ground for all applicants to develop their proposal. But you are experts, even more than us, so you know what companies needs in this clean energy transition. So don't don't stop your ideas. So do not submit. Sorry, do not submit. Avoid to submit good ideas only because you don't see them or a specific reference in the call text, because again, if well justified, you can really see this topic as a stepping stone for the development of useful approaches for companies. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have whatever question concerning scope A or B, you can use and refer, and you can reach to us through this functional mailbox. We will compile all the questions, and if we do think that some questions are also relevant for others, we will publish them under the frequently asked questions in the portal. Thank you again for your attention. Good luck with the preparation of your proposal, and have a nice day.